जय धारी माँ नमस्ते। आइए जुड़िए मेरे साथ 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 विद साइना में। दिल से दिल की बात करेंगे। द लाइट विद इन मी ऑनर्स द लाइट विद इन यू।
जय धारी माँ, जय धारी माँ। अनुपम, वेरी वेलकम, वेरी वेलकम। हमारी ऑडियंस का स्वागत है, आइए जुड़िए। We begin today's session with a little prayer. You know, we just pray that the suffering and the pain in the world gets reduced and people can see the light of what's happening all around us. We begin with a prayer. The incidents that are happening around us, they're painful and there are no easy answers. चलिए सेशन शुरू करते हैं. We need our children to understand life. Anupam, I'm going to take a minute just to put things in perspective and then we start our session. आज का जो टॉपिक है वो है पावर ऑफ yes and no, peer pressure, compassion and empathy. ये टॉपिक्स आप बच्चों ने हमें दिए हैं. तो जब ये टॉपिक्स आपकी तरफ से आए, I did feel that you all are ready to connect with the higher self, with yourself. But just putting a few things in perspective before we start this session. Yes and no. Being caring, being loving, being adjusting, being giving, being selfless is a good thing. The no we are talking about is the no which is self-depleting. It's a no which disempowers you. It's a no which creates a collapse of the space around you. That is the no we are talking about. We are not going to be talking about a selfish no. So that's one. The other thing, peer pressure. For peer pressure, children, we all are going through influences. We have to be mindful and we have to pray and create well-meaning energy around us. So that's a prayer. Compassion and empathy, we are going to talk about how it has to be extremely well-placed and well-meaning. So ये है मतलब इन 3 टॉपिक्स का और अब हम चर्चा शुरू करेंगे. जी अनुपम.
जी.
Your thoughts
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward. In fact, what is it that our children think about it? What do they want to know about it? Okay, I think these are peer pressure is a very commonly used phrase. So I think all में सबने सुनी जरूर होगी. And I'm glad आज हम इस पे चर्चा करेंगे. Can't hear you.
What are your thoughts about just this entire topic, this entire thought, the power of yes and no? 2 little words, but they can change your life. They are the basis of every decision. What are your thoughts on this?
Yes, Saina, to me, even personally, I feel that this has had a very significant role in my life personally too. And I very consciously have had to learn the need and the importance, the ability to be able to say no. Because I think a lot of times, and I hope we'll talk more of it subsequently today, we start out with, we think that if we have to be a good person, if we have to be a kind person, it means we always have to agree with the person in front. We are scared to offend someone, right? So often we are unable to say no because we feel सामने वाले को बुरा लग जाएगा, वो हर्ट हो जाएंगे, और उनको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए हम नो कहना चाहते हुए भी नो नहीं कहते. And then that leaves us carrying a weight of something that we didn't want to do, but we went ahead and did. So, definitely, I think more than the yes, learning to say no is the really significant one that we need to learn.
You know, here at my age, spiritually, the thought is, who are we really accountable to? और अगर हमारी no is coming from a very, very mindful, well-meaning, thoughtful place, then everything will be well. It has to be well because it's coming from a very clean and clear space. But for our youngsters, it's very important for them to know their priorities and why are they saying a yes, why are they saying a no. So self reflection, analyzing their yes and no, has become a skill for our teenagers and our children and our youth. उनको शाम को बैठ के, रात को बैठ के सोचना चाहिए, मैंने कहाँ कहाँ हाँ बोली और मैंने कहाँ कहाँ ना बोली और क्यों बोली. Because our choices are going to define us eventually. Take this home, carry this thought home, my children. Your choices are going to define you eventually. Ji Anupam.
Yes, yes, Saina. Because, you know, when it is, I think the way I see it is saying yes is often not needed. Like we say, an indecision inevitably ends up in a yes in most of the times. A no answer is a given, an agreement. Okay, and that is why no is the more powerful one. And yet, no is something that does not come naturally and easy to us. So, actually, the ability to say no is a very important life skill that children need to learn. It is extremely, extremely important, not in the context of um, being able to say no to things. It is in things where आप अंदर से नहीं कहना चाहते हो, आप उस एक्शन के लिए अग्री नहीं करना चाहते हो, you do not agree with that thought, and yet you are not able to say no. So because you are not able to say no, आप inevitably you become a part of something, or you become a party to something that you did not want to be a part of. So actually, this is something that has to be consciously learned by most of us. And the reason is, you know, sometimes if we see it like this, कि bachpan se, you know, and our homes, how often do we give our children the permission to say no? For very small things, I'm not talking about serious stuff here. It is like, मुझे भिंडी नहीं अच्छी लगती खानी. Am I allowed to say no? So a young child who says, I don't like bangan, is not allowed to say, no, I won't eat bangan. They are taught, no, you have to, you must. Okay. So in a similar manner, the child says, I want to stay up and watch TV. Here, the parent has a right to say, no, you won't. Okay. But if the child is told, we are going out for a dinner party today, does the child have a right to say no? A lot of teenagers also are not given that right. They don't, right? So we are growing up subconsciously learning that I don't have the permission to say no. If I say no, I am being disagreeable, I am being difficult, I am being uncooperative. And then when the same child gets into a situation outside the house, in, let's say with friends, and now they are in a situation where something more serious, maybe everyone, they have decided, okay, you know what, today we are going to experiment, let's all smoke a cigarette. And so everyone has gotten into a group and one cigarette has been lit, and now it is being passed from one to the other in the group. Here is this child. Actually, there may be those who are really curious and want to go ahead and try. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about that one child who does not want to, who, given a choice, does not want to take that one experiment with smoking, does not even want to take that one, puff, so to say. And yet, have never said no in my life. I couldn't say no to Bengan. I couldn't say no to going out to the dinner party. I just don't know how to say no. Here I am not wanting to accept that cigarette. Here I am not wanting to puff on that cigarette. And yet I see myself holding it and putting it to my lips. This is the no that we need to focus on. This is the skill that our children need to learn. That when you don't want to, in that situation, you have to be able to say no. Because most of the times they are aware that this is not right for me, or I don't want to do it, but I'm just giving into it still. I'm not saying yes, I want to smoke it, but I'm not saying no either. And so inevitably, that means you didn't say no, means everything else is a yes. You have to accept it. You have given into it. So that's my perspective on it.
Ji. So this is for parents, that it is very important. As a parent, आप अपने बच्चे को तैयार कर रहे हैं ना for a real life outside. तो छोटे होते से अगर आप अपने बच्चे को ये थिंकिंग पावर की स्किल की इजाज़त दें, आप उनको अपने शुरुआत करें छोटे छोटे फैसलों से, क्योंकि हर चॉइस का, हर डिसीजन का एक कॉन्सिक्वेंस होगा. लेट देम आल्सो ओन अप टू दैट कॉन्सिक्वेंस. तभी वो सीखेंगे कि मैंने ये यस बोली तो ये हुआ, मैंने ये नो बोली तो ये हुआ, एंड आई एम रेडी टू ओन अप. ऐसे तो ये बच्चे सीखेंगे. तो उनको वो स्पेस भी दीजिए, उनको वो हैंड होल्ड देम, be there for them, be their safety net, watch over them, but allow them this space. This is what growing is about, where you're ready to own up the consequences of your choices. ये इजाजत तो दीजिए अपने बच्चों को.
True, absolutely.
A few
And
thoughts about parenting. Yes.
And in fact, Ismay, I would want to add, right, for the children who are listening particularly, it doesn't mean that, and even for young parents, it doesn't mean कि आपने अपने बच्चे को encourage करना है कि जिस चीज की मर्जी वो no कहना चाहे वो कहे. नहीं, ये मुझे नहीं चाहिए, नहीं, ये मुझे नहीं करना. That is not what I'm encouraging.
Yes.
What I'm saying is, teach them that they have the option to say no. Okay, so let's say if we go back to the same, doesn't like to eat bang and says no. Let the child say no. But do not turn it into a blanket statement of aapne khana hai. You have no option to say. That's not how it should be. It should be done in a different manner. Maybe you encourage the child. Sometimes we, tell them about the nutritional aspect. Sometimes we make a story about it. Sometimes we tell them, why is this important? This will help you, grow, whatever it is, depending on the age of your child. So if that teenager, let him or her have the permission to be able to convey his or her choice to you and say, no, I don't feel like going to that dinner party. That doesn't mean कि उसने no कह दिया and you leave it to that. Fine. Said no, talk about it, work it out, come to a mutually agreed decision, whatever it is. So as a parent, be willing to allow your child to say no, not as a acha no keh diya kahani khatam. It is actually the beginning of a discussion. Every no in parenting should be the beginning of a discussion between the parent and child. And depending on the age group of your child, age appropriately आपने उसे बात करनी है, उसे समझाना है, अपना point of view समझाना है, उसे convince करने की कोशिश करनी है, but with an open mind, allowing and accepting that my child is also a thinking, feeling human being, allowing your child to realize that he or she is a thinking, feeling human being who has a right to feel that they have a right to say no to certain things, to find certain things disagreeable. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's all right to not want to agree to everything. So, literally, that I would say every no in parenting should be encouraged and should be the beginning of a discussion point. That's how we should look at
It's a very important skill. It's really, I hope and pray whosoever is listening, the parents listening, allow your children that space. But please be like a safety net around them and then allow them that space. धीरे 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 वो इस रास्ते पे बढ़ेंगे. They're your children. उनको तैयार कीजिए, उनको सक्षम बनाइए to go there and face a very real world. जी, थोड़ा सा peer pressure की तरफ आते हैं because we are doing 3 topics today. Peer pressure. Our child is asked, peer pressure पे ही बात करेंगे, आप बताएंगे what is peer pressure. इप्सितो ने पूछा है, is there anything called good peer pressure? If so, how can we explain it? So peer pressure. What is peer pressure? What are the various aspects of it?
I absolutely loved his question. Absolutely, there is something like good peer pressure. But sadly, जिसे कहते हैं ना peer pressure, the phrase so called बदनाम है, क्योंकि we have always used it in a negative context, right? We have always used it in a manner कि peer pressure is something that gets us to do the bad things. We don't even take into account all the good things that peer pressures get us to do. So literally, what is peer pressure? Peer pressure, very simply put, peers is who? People around you. Okay. So when people around you are the reason that you choose to do something, we will say that is peer pressure. When they are the basis of your decision, when they are the basis of the choices you are making, right? But then again, often, peer pressure, we always relate it to school life, we relate it to adolescents, and we feel adolescents are the ones who always succumb to peer pressure. Okay, but interestingly, here I would want to point out that peer pressure is something that continues all through our lives. Even at my age, I could be succumbing to peer pressure. When people around me, because of them, my decisions are getting influenced. If I'm making my choices based on people around me, I am giving into peer pressure too, right? And definitely, good peer pressure examples would be when you have a set of friends and all of you get motivated and say, this half yearlies, you know what? We are really going to genuinely, बड़ी मेहनत से पढ़ाई करेंगे, and we'll make sure that we do at least one revision before the exam. Let's set a target and do really well. That's peer pressure too. Because all your friends are, they have planned to study hard. So I have no choice but to join in too, otherwise I'm going to be left out. So I join in also. And normally मैं पढ़ाई में इतना serious नहीं होती हूँ, but this time I'm going to be serious because all my friends have decided to be serious. So that's an example of good peer pressure. So I hope I have been able to answer his question.
Yes, and हम सब एक दूसरे के साथ ही तो आगे बढ़ते हैं. जिंदगी का एक नाम ये भी तो है, रिश्ते, हमारे एसोसिएशंस, फ्रेंड्स, अक्वेंटेंसेस, रिलेटिव्स, फैमिली. तो पीयर प्रेशर का वर्ड वो इस वक्त इन्फ्लुएंसेस में डाल देते हैं वो वर्ड, एंड नोबडी इज परफेक्ट. सो ये भी एक बात, नोबडी इज परफेक्ट. ये भी आपको समझना है माइंडफुली कि हर बात को पकड़ के नहीं बैठ जाते, क्या छोड़नी है बात, क्या समझनी है, क्या असेस करना है, हाउ वेल मीनिंग इज दिस एडवाइस फॉर मी, हाउ वेल मीनिंग इज दिस कंपनी फॉर मी, ये सब चीजें आपको देखनी है. सो यू हैव टू बी वेरी ओपन माइंडेड, माइंडफुल, लार्ज हार्टेड. यस, यस अनुपम.
Yes, true, Simon. And like you said, rightfully so, peer pressure is not just about friends, it's also about family, right? Because our families influence us a lot, right? हम चाहें या ना चाहें हमें family pressure काफी रहता है in terms of a lot of life decisions, है ना? But again, the point is that it's not always bad. A lot of times it is good. A lot of times it is good because sometimes it is ensuring कि हम रास्ता भटक ना जाए. कभी वो रोल भी प्ले करता है, राइट? कभी वो ये रोल भी प्ले करता है कि मेरे अंदर इतना ज्यादा ये ना हो जाए कि हाँ सब कुछ मुझे पता है, आई नो इट. Literally, like we say, man is a social animal, right? So one, we need people around us. We need the ability to be able to live with people around us. And हमारे अंदर उतना होना चाहिए humbleness कि हम कहें कि yes, मुझे सब कुछ नहीं पता है. There's always something I can learn from others. So that willingness to learn from others, I think that too, if I may say, can be seen as part of good peer pressure. So whether it is coming from your family, whether it is coming from your friends, whether it is coming from your community, it can be positive. It can be something that is helping you shape your life in the rightful direction. However, the reason we are discussing it today is कि बहुत बार it can have very serious negative effects also. And negative तब आता है जब, like you said, Saina, कि बिना सोचे समझे अगर हम blindly किसी चीज को follow करें, तो कहीं हमें ये भी याद रखना है कि मेरी अपनी भी कोई intelligence है. Trust your wisdom also. Trust your beliefs also. Trust your gauge of right and wrong also. हमेशा वो चीज जो मेरी फैमिली इंसिस्ट कर रही है may not be right. हो सकता है कि मेरी फैमिली में ये ट्रेडिशन रहा है कि वी से कि हाँ डाउरी, देयर इज नथिंग रॉन्ग, वो आप वर्ड डाउरी को हटा दो, ये तो हमारा ट्रेडिशन होता है कि हमारी फैमिली में इसी तरह से शादी के ये रीति रिवाज है ना? बट अगेन आपको उसे अपनी लेवल पे अगर आप उसे गेज करो तो शायद you may or may not want to agree to it. You may or may not, you don't have to blindly give in to it, which so many people do. And here I'm talking about adults, I'm not talking about children. And तभी हम देखते हैं कि incidents of, हम कहते हैं इतना पढ़ा लिखा इंसान, itna well established person, and yet giving in to something in the name of traditions. I would say that is an example of negative peer pressure. And the reason why we're talking about children here is कि this is the right time. आप समय रहते अगर ये life skills सीख जाए, अगर आप समय रहते इस चीज के बारे में mindful हो जाए, तो you are already on the right track. So as you grow up, chances of you not succumbing to negative peer pressure are very high. So it is almost like we are preparing you for ahead. We are getting you ready for ahead, and we are trying, like today if we are talking about this topic, we are talking about it hoping that जो आज इसको बात को समझ पाए वो बच्चे आगे ग्रो अप ऐसे करें, या जो पेरेंट्स सुन रहे हैं उनके पेरेंट्स अपने बच्चों को इस तरीके से बड़ा कर सकें कि जब वो बच्चे बड़े होते हैं they are safe from the negative effects of peer pressure, and they are able to embrace the positive aspects of peer pressure.
समझ समझ शक्ति बढ़ाने वाली बात है ये. अपनी समझ बढ़ानी है धीरे धीरे. Also, peer pressure, another aspect. You can't drink from every cup just because you're thirsty. Can you go about drinking from every cup just because you're thirsty? So I want friends. I want to be popular. So सब चलता है, ऐसे नहीं होता है. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दैट.
हाँ, जो आप कह रहे हो साइना, दैट इज एंड इसमें यही बात आती है कि कहीं पे हर बच्चे में ये क्षमता होनी चाहिए. दे शुड हैव द कैपेसिटी टू पॉज, थिंक एंड नो व्हाट इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू मी, व्हाट इज इट दैट आई वांट. Don't decide based on what everyone else is choosing. Don't decide based on what everyone else is doing. Pehle, have a mind of your own. Pehle, have a thought of your own, and then go and join the group and see how your thinking or your desires or your beliefs fit in. That is the better way to approach even friendships, rather than ki feeling that desperation of belonging कि I need to belong. तो हम जिस ग्रुप ने मेरे को एक्सेप्ट कर लिया, मैं उनका पार्ट बन गई. एंड अब जो भी उनका बिलीफ सिस्टम है, जो भी उनके ideas of right and wrong hai, now I have to accept them because that is how I'm going to continue to belong to this group. That's the wrong way round of choosing friendship. Friendships should be chosen before and even during, while you always have to take out time to figure मैं कौन हूँ, मेरे लिए क्या important है, मेरे लिए क्या सही है, मेरे लिए क्या गलत है. And there are instances and it can happen. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है that all friends in a group agree to everything, right? Like you may see that even in older people, I gave this example of smoking. So in older people, this happens too. Just because, let's say, there's a group of 6 very close friends, does it mean all 6 have to smoke? No. Maybe 2 smoke and 4 don't. So ये बात भी जानना बच्चों के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. और ये तभी आता है जब मुझे पता है मेरे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है. उस ग्रुप में ऐसा भी हो सकता है that 5 smoke, 1 doesn't. Because that one has made his choice. That no, I choose not to. And then, despite being with a group of friends who have a different set of beliefs, you don't get pressured into agreeing to it. तो first step always is अपने आप को जानो. आप क्या चाहते हो, आपके लिए क्या इंपॉर्टेंट है, आप किस चीज को सही और गलत मानते हो. वहां से हमेशा शुरुआत करिए. उस चीज को हमेशा अपना सो टू से पिवट बनाइए. ग्राउंड योरसेल्फ knowing who am I, what's important to me. जी साइना.
But this I has to be very well-meaning I. Your I has to be a very, very mindful I. Your I has to be very, very thoughtful I. सिर्फ ये नहीं कि मुझे ये चाहिए, ये मेरे हिसाब से हो, ये मेरे तरीके से हो, सामने वाला मेरे तरीके से बात करे, मेरे तरीके से उठे बैठे, जो मैं कह रही हूँ वही हो, ऐसा नहीं. इस आय की वृद्धि करनी है, इस आय को बहुत माइंडफुल बनाना है. ये आय को भी तो बहुत तरीके से डेवलप करना है ना अनुपम.
जी जी साइना. एंड इस आई को जब हम डेवलप कर रहे हैं ना, एक तो कि इस कंटेक्स्ट में, खास तौर से जब हम पीयर प्रेशर, एबिलिटी टू नो कहने के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बात करते हैं, तो इस आई को डेवलप करना इज अबाउट अपना वैल्यू सिस्टम डेवलप करना, अपना बिलीफ सिस्टम डेवलप करना. ठीक. एंड ये वैल्यू सिस्टम और बिलीफ सिस्टम अल्टीमेटली आता कहाँ से है, इसका जिसे हम कहते हैं रूट्स कहाँ पर होती हैं, इन आवर फैमिली. And so we actually go back to that जो हमने शुरू में बात की थी, कि अगर हमारे घर में पेरेंट्स के साथ we've had those healthy discussions which started with every no, that each time I said no, I don't like this, and that started a discussion, right? No, I don't want to do this, and that started another discussion. Okay, a healthy, good discussion with my parents. Then what has happened is that is what is helping me build my I in terms of my value system, my belief system. ठीक है. तो इसमें अगर मैं कहूँ कि आज मैं आपको बताऊंगी कि आपका वैल्यू सिस्टम ये होना चाहिए या आपका बिलीफ सिस्टम ये होना चाहिए, वो गलत होगा. क्योंकि हम सब अलग अलग बैकग्राउंड से आते हैं, अलग अलग सोच है। ये कहना मेरी सोच सही है, आप सबकी नहीं, मैं आज आपको बताऊंगी क्या सही है क्या गलत, दैट्स नॉट इट। हम सब को ये हक है, एंड वी कैन ऑल लिटरली लाइक वी से अग्री टू डिसएग्री। You can believe in something and I can believe in something else, and yet we can coexist, right? But जरूरत यही है कि हर इंसान को एक अपना बिलीफ सिस्टम, वैल्यू सिस्टम होना भी जरूरी है। जिस बच्चे ने बचपन से कभी नो कहा ही नहीं, उसे इजाजत ही नहीं थी नो कहने की, वो कभी एक्सप्लोर ही नहीं कर पाया कि मेरा वैल्यू सिस्टम या मेरा बिलीफ सिस्टम क्या है। आज तक उसको बस बताया गया ये होगा ये नहीं होगा, आप ये करेंगे आप ये नहीं करेंगे। That child never developed that level of thinking where he or she could think for himself or herself. वैसा बच्चा जब so called adolescence में आके उस स्टेज पे आते हैं जहां पर एक सेंस ऑफ बिलोंगिंग, नीड टू बिलोंग टू अ ग्रुप बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाती है। दैट्स अ वेरी स्ट्रांग नीड फॉर ऑल एडोलेसेंट्स। So then that's where things go wrong. Things go wrong with those children who don't have a sense of self, who don't have a sense of values or beliefs ki what are important to me. It's always about wo to mummy papa kehte hain, I don't agree with them. I've just been forced to do it till now. Today I have the freedom, but I don't know what to do with my freedom. And so what am I going to do with it? I'm just going to blindly follow someone else. That's where things go wrong. That is where we see the negativity of peer pressure coming in. That's where we see things happening that should not be happening.
Jaspreet has asked us, a lovely young girl, she's asked us something similar. How do you say no to someone without feeling guilty?
So clearly, this child has put a blanket feeling to the word no. She feels saying no is a bad thing. So if you feel no, you will end up feeling guilty. But why so? If I come, let's say I go visiting Saina right now, and she says, "Come, Anupam, would you like to have coffee?" And I say, "No, thank you, Saina. I prefer not to have coffee in the evening." Should I feel guilty about it? That's how it works for me, right? But I'm able to say it because I feel that's how it works for me. Otherwise, I would be thinking that if Saina has offered me coffee, oh, it'll be so rude if I say no. And it's not proper. What if she feels offended? What if she feels hurt? What if she feels I'm being rude that she offered me coffee and I didn't accept it? Those are the typical ways. If I'm thinking like that, then yes, even if I say no, sign, I won't have coffee, I'm going to end up with a lot of guilt feeling. Ki no keh to diya, but now I'm thinking, have I hurt her? Did I do something wrong? Haan hi keh dena tha, le hi leti. And I'm double guessing my action. So here I would want her to understand ki bacha, if you are associating saying no with guilt, you really need to sit down and work on it, because no is not a bad thing. You know, no is about setting boundaries. No is about knowing what works for me. No is about self preservation. No, being able to say no is about keeping myself safe. And if you are able to see it from that point of view, that my no, behind my no is self care, you realize that you will not feel those feelings of guilt anymore. You'll be able to say no without feeling guilty.
जसप्रीत बेटा, जी अनुपम आप कुछ कह रहे? जी कहिए कहिए।
नहीं, साइना आप बोलो।
Beta, why you do what you do really matters, and how you do it. You can be very respectful, you can be very dignified, you can be assertive also but not aggressive. उसमें क्या हर्ज है? दूसरी चीज मैं बार बार आप सब बच्चों को बोल रही हूँ, योर सेल्फ हैज टू बी वेरी वेल डेवलप्ड, वेरी वेल मीनिंग. अगर आपका दिल साफ है ना तो वो नजर आएगा. दूसरा ना, एक पहचान होती है कुछ रिश्तों की. कुछ रिश्ते अलाउ यू द स्पेस टू बी, दे इम्ब्रेस यू कम्प्लीटली. कुछ रिश्तों में, अक्वेंटेंसेस में बड़ा सोच सोच के बात करनी पड़ती है. ये कह दिया तो ये ऐसे हो जाएगा, ये कह दिया तो ऐसे हो जाएगा. उन रिश्तों में तो वैसे भी बाउंड्रीज चाहिए. बात और तरीके से बात करो, सोच समझ के बात करो. अब यही है समझ बढ़ाने वाली बात, क्योंकि हर बात में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट भी नहीं क्रिएट करना. हमने ऐसी भी बातें नहीं करनी कि हम एक का 11 बना दें. So beta, these are also going to be a lot of communication skills. This is also a part of communication skills which you will develop as you grow up. दूसरा, हर बात अपनी हर एक से नहीं करते. हर एक से हर बात नहीं करते. आप हर एक से हर बात करोगे तो फिर आपके ये यस एंड नो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएंगे, है ना अनुपम?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सही साइना. In fact, I would say the children can use this ability to say no as a yardstick of which is a good group for me or which is a good group set of friends for me. तो आप इस यार्डस्टिक को इस तरह यूज कर सकते हैं कि अगर एक सेट ऑफ फ्रेंड्स है जिनके बीच में ना आप हमेशा अनकंफर्टेबल फील करते हो टू बी एबल टू से नो, जिनमें हर बार नो कहने में बहुत गिल्ट फीलिंग आती है या लगता है बहुत मुश्किल है, take it that that is not the right group of friends for you. And if there's another group of friends जहाँ पे you realize कि जब मुझे नो कहना होता है ना मैं बड़े आसानी से कह लेती हूँ, मेरे को कोई हिचक नहीं होती. I I don't have to think and what will they think, will they get offended, will they judge me, what will they think about me. Those group of friends को embrace them, they are the right group for you because they are allowing you to be, so to say, right? So I think yet again that this can be a beautiful way for you to choose and realize which is a safe and a good group of friends for you. Ji.
Also, it's very important to sense, are you with a group of people who are putting water on your flame all the time? That's something you need to be watchful for. You are your own unique person with your own aspirations, your own way of doing things. That's unique to you. You can't be people who are always going to put. You have a spark within you. फिर क्या करोगे? लड़ाई करोगे? नहीं. कम्युनिकेशन स्किल, यही आप लोगों को सीखना है. Be very open-hearted, be very loving, be very big-hearted while looking after the self. But this self, मैं फिर से बोल रही हूँ, this self is a very sacred self. इस self में आपके सब रिश्ते आते हैं. आप इस self में अकेले नहीं हो. लेकिन आपने इस सेल्फ को बहुत डिग्निफाइड बनाना है, where you can hold your own also. Actually, Anupam, this starts very early. This is such a great responsibility of parents, that we allow our children to blossom in the real way. ये इतना छोटा टॉपिक नहीं है.
True, true. Actually, ये इतना छोटा टॉपिक नहीं है. However, इसमें जैसे कि I'll like I'll tell children कि देखो एक aspect हमने बताया आपको peer pressure के लिए कि अगर आप you're aware of your sense, you have a sense of self कि what is my value system, what is my belief system. It helps you, uh, sort of anchors you, ठीक है, and prevents you from कि आप किसी भी बहाव में बह ना जाएं, ठीक है, जो आपके लिए गलत हो. दूसरा क्या होता है कि कुछ बातें जो बच्चों को जाननी चाहिए कि इट इज पार्ट ऑफ ग्रोइंग अप, कि लाइक आई सेड ना, एक बड़ा स्ट्रॉन्ग अंदर से नीड होती है दैट वी नीड टू बिलोंग. उसी के साथ एक होती है अ टर्म दैट इज यूज्ड, फोमो, फियर ऑफ मिसिंग आउट. यस, सो समटाइम्स दैट इज व्हाट पीयर प्रेशर ब्रिंग्स. सो हियर यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि बहुत बार ना हम सोचते हैं पीयर प्रेशर मतलब बाहर से प्रेशर आ रहा है मेरे ऊपर कुछ करने के लिए, ठीक है, कि कोई मुझे फोर्स करेगा या कहेगा करो ना, व्हाई आर यू नॉट डूइंग इट. दैट्स नॉट हाउ पीयर प्रेशर वर्क्स. रियल पीयर प्रेशर एक्चुअली वर्क्स कि बाहर से कोई आपके ऊपर प्रेशर नहीं है, सारा प्रेशर आपके अंदर होता है. यू आर फीलिंग, यू हैव, लेट्स से दैट फियर ऑफ मिसिंग आउट. तो बावजूद इसके कि जो भी एक्शन या जो भी एक्टिविटी वो बच्चे कर रहे हैं, इट डज नॉट मैच विद योर वैल्यूज, पर आपको लगता है कि but then I'll miss out, and so I might as well give in. I might as well compromise on my own value system. Okay, so that also, be mindful of it. The pressure actually comes very strong from within us. Peer pressure is because everyone around me is doing it, I start feeling the need to do it also. No one's forcing me, they're just doing it on their own. No one's asking me to do it. Nobody, it's not a case of bullying, it's not a case of coercion, it is not a case of threatening someone. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. इट इज जस्ट कि आपको खुद को लगने लगता है कि सब तो कर रहे हैं, सब तो कर रहे हैं, मैं ही अकेली रह गई. तो कहीं ना हमारे अंदर वो एक हिम्मत भी होनी चाहिए कि कभी कभी जब जरूरत पड़े ना, इट्स ओके, सो व्हाट इफ आई एम ऑल अलोन. आई एम डिसाइडेड, आई एम गोइंग टू स्टैंड हियर, आई एम विलिंग टू स्टैंड हियर, and I have the courage, even if it is just me alone. And that is important. That too is a very important thing that you need to learn. And here, I would say it is a lot of self. It's not as much about parenting or social or society pressure. It is all about self. Having that much अपने अंदर, आपके अंदर इतना होना चाहिए, अपने अंदर इतनी बिलीफ होनी चाहिए कि even if I am the only one, I'm left standing all alone, I will not compromise with my value system. अगर मुझे ये सही लगता है तो लगता है, अगर मुझे गलत लगता है तो लगता है, even if everyone else has given in. जी साइना.
You must have the courage to walk alone when the situation demands. You must have that courage. You must be so secure within. You must be so self assured within. You must have so much of self belief. Again, a very well meaning self. ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. ये ना एक क्वेश्चन है, मासूमा ने पूछा हमारे बच्चे ने, यही है, द यूथ इज ऑलवेज इन कंफ्यूजन, बट मतलब यही है, द यूथ इज ऑलवेज इन कंफ्यूजन. Our grandparents had a different way of thinking, and the modern age is saying something else, so we're always confused. बात तो यही है. आपका दिल क्या कह रहा है? आप कौन है? जी अनु जी.
जी बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. अल्टीमेटली ग्रोइंग अप का मतलब यही है. ग्रोइंग अप, and we are all in such a big hurry to grow up, but then so many of us, maybe 40 years old, so many of us maybe 60 years old, and we still haven't grown up in the sense of knowing what is that that I want, having my own sense of self. So the sooner you can get it, the better it is. कि हम सब, yes, we grow up, हम अपनी फैमिली से एक वैल्यू सिस्टम सीखते हैं, हम अपनी कम्युनिटी से एक वैल्यू सिस्टम सीखते हैं, हम अपने टीचर्स से सीखते हैं, हम अपने फ्रेंड्स से सीखते हैं. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे, ईच ऑफ यू इज एन इंडिविजुअल ऑफ योर ओन. आपको वो चीज का एहसास होना चाहिए कि मैं एक झुंड का हिस्सा नहीं हूं, मैं एक इंडिविजुअल एंटिटी हूं. व्हेन आई से ईच ऑफ यू इज अ थिंकिंग फीलिंग बीइंग, मतलब हर एक इंसान का अपना एक इंडिविजुअलिटी है. उसको जानो, उसको पहचानो. हो सकता है दैट हैपेंस विद द बेस्ट ऑफ अस. जरूरी नहीं है कि जो मेरे पेरेंट्स का वैल्यू सिस्टम था मैं उसको ब्लाइंडली अग्री करती हूँ. हो सकता है कि some child grew up in a family where they felt कि हाँ, taking bribes is okay, that's the way business happens, उसके बिना तो business होता ही नहीं है. But maybe that child, being a individual, a thinking feeling being, decided कि no, I respect you father for whatever your belief system is, however I disagree with it. मेरे बिलीफ सिस्टम में आई फील टेकिंग राइट्स इज अ रॉन्ग थिंग. सो दिस इज जस्ट अ लिटिल एग्जांपल आई एम शेयरिंग कि उस तरीके से आपने जो दुनिया में देखा, सब जगहों का सुनो, देखो, समझो, उन सबको रिस्पेक्ट दो, डोंट जज देम. पर अपने लिए फिर बनाओ कि अब इस सब में से व्हाट वर्क्स फॉर मी, what gives me my sense of self, what makes me feel, yes, I can stand by these values. फिर चाहे दुनिया कुछ भी करे, I will not feel the pressure to join in. I will have the courage to be able to stand my ground and say, this is what I believe in. I want to stand by this. That should be your take. That should be each of our take in life.
Anupam, we are always talking about life skills, but I have to say this to all our children: the power of faith in prayer. Usko please chota mat samjho. Develop it. Begin your day with a prayer. Ask strength from your Maker, who has made all of us. आपको किसने बनाया है वो तो सोचो बैठ के. Who's holding this entire creation सृष्टि together, वो तो सोचो. Start your day with a prayer. Seek, रास्ता मांगो अपने लिए. Prayer will increase your inner power, strengthen your inner power. It will strengthen your inner voice. It will strengthen your instinct. फिर आगे बढ़ो. It will, there is a higher self, my children, and there is a lower self. The higher self will always lead you to what's good for you, and the lower self will always ask you to take an easy way out. This is a reality. You can't run away from it. So इसके बारे में भी सोचो. Developing your power of faith, prayer, the way you think, the way you look at life, इसके बारे में भी सोचो. Ananya has asked us a question. Actually, I think it's something that she's sharing. She says, how can true power of saying yes and no empower individuals to create boundaries, make informed decisions, and lead a more fulfilled life? This, her answer is in the question.
Actually, yes, you're right. That is what she's literally telling, that what the power of being able to say yes and no can bring and give you in life. So true. And she said it all very nicely.
And boundaries, I don't think is a negative word or a negative line. It just means you respect yourself and you respect everyone around you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
In fact, having boundaries is a very, very healthy thing. It is needed. क्योंकि अगर बाउंड्रीज नहीं होंगी तो हमें पता ही नहीं लगेगा कि हम कहाँ से कहाँ पहुंच गए. और फिर शायद हम पलट के देखेंगे और हमें लगेगा ये मैं कहाँ आ गई. Why did I allow this to happen? Right? So having boundaries means you are mindful of how far you are willing to go and how far you are willing to allow another person to take you. So setting boundaries is definitely a very, very healthy thing to do. There's nothing negative about it at
And you can have the doors of your space, home, heart open. but you can be very watchful. Why will you not want well-meaning energy around you? Why would you not want well-meaning energy around your loved ones, around your home, in your home? You have a right to decide. There's nothing wrong with it, but be extremely respectful, be extremely dignified. और कई बारी अगर चुप भी रहना पड़ता है and you have to hold your own, hold your own. Kanishk has asked us another very important question. How can peer pressure affect a child's health physically?
Peer pressure, well, if he's saying literally, physically, one of the uh, most common, so to say, associations with negative peer pressure is substance abuse. Most children who give in to substance abuse, one of the major reasons is peer pressure. And once again, I reiterate here, it is not necessarily the kind of peer pressure where someone is coercing you or forcing you. कोई आपसे जबरदस्ती या जोर जबरदस्ती करके या थ्रेटन करके आपको ऐसा कोई सब्सटेंस अब्यूज करवा रहा है. More often than not, it is that thing of curiosity, fear of missing out. सब तो कर रहे हैं, या oh, it is so cool. That's the way to be cool, or that's the most happening thing, and that is something that you give into, and it directly affects your physical health. And one more thing, other than substance abuse, it is also about sexual exploration. जो आजकल बच्चों में अगेन पीयर प्रेशर के रहते बहुत ज्यादा हो रहा है. हमें ऐसे लगता है everybody is in a relationship. I'm the only one left out, so I should also get into a relationship. I'm not even ready for it. I don't even feel like it. But I am almost feeling forced to get into a relationship because that seems to be expected out of everyone my age, because everyone else is doing it. और इसमें आप लोगों को एक बात बताऊं, in fact ये actually हुआ था in one of the schools during a group session. We ultimately realized that out of the 20 people in the group, every single one of them thought that the other 19 are in a relationship, so I should be too. None of them wanted it. None of them were comfortable with it. None of them were feeling the need to get into it. And yet, each of them just imagined. So that is the peer pressure. It was literally peer pressure. क्योंकि हमें लगा सब लोग कर रहे हैं, मुझे भी करना चाहिए. And again, this is sexual exploration. समय से पहले, गलत age पर, बहुत young age पर, that is another thing that can harm you physically. So these are two examples I've given you, right? Which directly can get affected because of peer pressure. And may I add something more, जो हमने टॉपिक थोड़ा पहले बात की थी, जो इससे भी रिलेटेड है, the ability to say no. तो वो भी इसमें आ जाता है कि कभी कुछ ऐसा हो जिसमें आप चाहते नहीं हो, पर क्योंकि आप ना नहीं कह पाए, तो आपके साथ कुछ you allowed something wrong to happen to you. So even there, in all of this, yes, it can have very serious harmful effects on us. They're not just अच्छा ठीक है हो गया तो क्या. So जो टॉपिक्स हम आज बात कर रहे हैं, it is not just about मुझे भिंडी नहीं खानी या बैंगन नहीं खाना. They can have very serious connotations in our life. So not succumbing to negative peer pressure, being able to say no when you need to, when you want to, are very, very, very important skills needed for your safety, including your physical safety. That's my take.
I personally, when it comes to teenagers and young growing teenagers, I'll embrace every bit of them. I'm very open when it comes to all their talk and ma'am, we've done this. I sit and listen. I'm very open to it because I know they're going to explore. And I'm saying this as a mother to all of you. Make informed choices. एक कोशिश करो to make informed choices. और दूसरी बात, जो भी कर रहे हो या करने जा रहे हो, is it going to deplete you or add to you? इसको सोच लो. ये सारी जो एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन करते हो, and then you say that we are feeling hollow within, we are feeling empty within. तो सोचो, but we are with you. But we are with you. We are with all our children. We are with all our youth. We are with all our teenagers. We know this is life. We know you will go through ups and downs. We are with you. But is it fulfilling you? What will fulfill you is you. Knowing yourself. That will fulfill you. अच्छा, हेल्थ पे बात आ रही है. कई बच्चियां they stop eating food because they want to look in a certain way. वो वजन, वो कपड़े, वो तैयार होना एक पर्टिकुलर वे से. Again, is it fulfilling you? We are with you. We know these ups and downs of life. फिर से पूछ रही हूँ, is it fulfilling you? Is it making you feel wholesome? Are you feeling good about it? Because we all want to see all of you happy. So yes, physically, yes. By physically, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, socially, हर एस्पेक्ट को करोड कर देता है. अगर आप अपने आप को अपने आप से नहीं भरना चाहते तो. उन्नति ने हमें पूछा है yes and no और उसकी importance of how yes and no can change your life. That's what she's asking.
I would say, Unnati, yes and no can change your life in a manner to have the ability to be able to say yes and no. Na? You have to have a mind of your own, so to say. आपकी एक ओपिनियन होनी जरूरी है. अगर मेरी कोई ओपिनियन ही नहीं है ना, मैं ना यस कह सकती हूँ ना नो कह सकती. फिर मैं भीड़ के साथ जाऊंगी. क्योंकि सब कह रहे हैं यस तो मैं भी यस कह देती हूँ. क्योंकि सब कह रहे हैं नो तो मैं भी नो कह देती हूँ. And I have no say of my own. So the beauty of this is that, when we were saying have a sense of self, it is to, yes, have an opinion. You should have. Your decisions must not be based on सब क्या कर रहे हैं या सब क्या नहीं कर रहे हैं. Your decisions have to be based on I have a mind of my own. I have an opinion on this. I think I have an ability to choose कि कुछ भी मेरे जो सामने रखा गया है, do I want to say yes to it or do I want to say no to it? Okay. The first step is having an opinion, and then comes the next step where you have learned and you have the courage to not feel guilty and to be able to say no when need be. So ये दोनों चीजें जब आप फॉलो कर रहे हैं, तो आप देखेंगे कि this ability to be able to say yes or no can truly shape your life. It impacts your life in a very big way. So in fact, on a slightly serious note, things have been happening in Manipur of late. Something again happened that is literally left us all shaken.
Yes.
I think all the people there, if they were able to truly so to say, use their ability to say yes or no. Maybe this could happen. It was a completely preventable act. Maybe there was that one person who was truly inhuman. Maybe there were those two people who were truly inhuman. But what about the rest? That's the power of the crowd. If everyone had been able to actually make use of their ability to say no, this was a preventable act. That is the power. That is the real power of being able to say no. That is what you need to do. You are not only going to make the world a safer place for yourself, you will have the power to make the world a safer place for others. I want you all to do this. The reason you need to develop this ability to be able to say no when needed.
जहाँ नो बोलनी है वहाँ नो बोलनी है, और जहाँ यस बोलनी है वहाँ यस बोलनी है, लेकिन जहाँ नो बोलनी है वहाँ यस नहीं बोलनी, और जहाँ यस बोलनी है वहाँ जाकर नो नहीं बोलनी. सो ये सीखना है हमने. बट आई यस एंड नो इज लाइक अ क्रॉस रोड. ये रास्ता ले लो, इस तरफ जाओगे, ये रास्ता ले लोगे तो इस तरफ जाओगे. आपको डिसाइड करना है. बट इट विल नीड करेज. Needs a sense of conviction. We'll conclude the program. It's 1 hour. We'll conclude it with a prayer. Again, it's very hard to even think about what's happened. We pray. We pray. Anupam, thank you. We pray. Ma, give them strength. Can't hear you. Can't hear you, Anupam.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, I said thank you, and as always a pleasure talking to you.
Yes. I truly feel the same, and thank you. Our children just need this. Our children just need a very real, heartful conversation, and I'm sure they'll pick up. They'll pick up what they want to, what they need to. But we're there for all of you. We're there for all of you through everything in life. Just know we're there for you. Okay. Take care, Anupam. Take care, and we thank our audience for joining us. Very, very grateful. Jai Dharima. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Dharima.